today. We are going to, today's session will be about teachers, classroom management and teacher rules. So I'll just display the first file that we've got here today. Right. In today's session, we're going to talk about classroom management and how can you manage your class. And this is, of course, very important now. I'll ask you some questions during this session, and I want you to answer these questions using the chat in your screen, in Zoom screen. So let's start today with the first question. Today's workshop will be about teacher rules, applying these rules to the lessons, and the feedback after that. And of course, you'll get some useful link that you can use and useful material that you can use as a teacher. So the first question for today, what rules do you adapt or use during your lesson? List 4. I want you to try to tell me 4 rules that you do during a lesson. Please use your chat and to answer these questions if you can. You also raise your hand if you want to answer using your microphone. It's okay. So does anyone of you know what are the teacher rules in the classroom? Raise your hand, please, if you can. Okay, no problem. Yes? No, I want you to use a chat method, or even you can use your microphone, but please don't try to over my board here. Erase what you have just written. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, I'll start now telling you what are the rules you can use during your lesson in classroom, okay? All right, the first one, or the first rule that you should be aware of, that you are a planner. And of course, this rule, you use it to prepare and reflect on the lesson before teaching. Prepare yourself for the lesson. You also should anticipate problems that you may face during your lesson. And of course, in the planner rule, you are designing or choose materials or even teaching aids, visual cards, whatever you want. These are all used in a planner rule, okay? And this planner rule, we use it before the lesson itself, in the preparation phase or preparation stage, okay? Next one. You are, as a teacher, you are also play a role as a manager. In this role, you must organize learning space, make sure everything in the classroom is running smoothly, and sets up the rules and routines. Like getting your students to your orders. Tell them what to do when they want to answer questions, for example. And of course, most of the rules for you as a manager, you must set them at the beginning of the semester or the beginning of the year of the learner's year, okay? Or even a course, if you are giving a course at the beginning of it. So you also play a role as a manager. Second one, of course, you are a monitor or also observer. This one, you goes around the class and watch individual, pairs, and group work activities, and check if one of your learners needs support. If necessary, you can give support also. Second one, facilitator. Right, and this one, you provide opportunities for learners, help them to access resources and develop learner autonomy, okay? And learner autonomy, if you don't know, you must, in this role, you must try to give your students some resources that they can work on independently away from you. Okay, we want them to be more independent during the learning process. And next one is you must be also a diagnostician. You work out the causes of learners or difficulties. You must analyze the difficulties in your classroom and try to give some solutions to it. Next will be language resource. You, of course, as an English teacher, especially language teachers, you must be a language resource that you can be used by the learner to help and advise about the language. If you are, for example, if you are trying to give them some rules for the grammar or new vocabularies. Next one, you are an assessor in the classroom. You evaluate the language level of your students and attitudes also of the learners by using different means of informal and formal assessments. And this formal or informal assessments also depends on how you approach your students. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to approach or deal with your students in formal or formal way? And also this also depends on the age stage that you are teaching. And the last one, for the teacher roles, you must be a rapport builder. In this role, you try to create a good relationship with your students and also between your students. So again, your roles as a teacher are planner. You also must act as a manager, monitor to watch out your students during the class, facilitator in order to give them more resources that they can use independently, and the diagnostician to look out for the problems and try to work out some solutions. Language resource when you are giving them a new a grammar rule or teaching them new vocabularies, and also an assessor to evaluate your students of language, the level of language, and rapport builder to build a good relationship between you and your own students. Okay, when shall we use these rules? Can I use all these rules at the same time? Of course. You will notice how the teacher rules match with different aspects of teaching and with different stages also during a lesson. We can use be a planner before the lesson, for example, and also you can be a manager, for example, or a monitor during role play or bear walk. And in some cases, you can be a rapport builder during your warm up or the phase before going into the new language input, of course. And if you are going to language input, you'll find yourself play a role of language resource. So these are all depends on what kind of rule do I use and where and when. This depends on the stage of your lesson, and we'll talk more about it. Now, I want you to pay attention that according to the approach that you use for teaching, you may not use all the rules that we've got here today. For example, some teachers use the BPP rule and some other use communicative approach rule. Okay, I want to ask you, any one of you, do you know what is the BPP approach for teachers? Do you have any idea? BPP approach and communicative approach. Raise your hand if you know. Try to guess. Right, anyway, BPP approach, we call it presentation, practice, and the production approach of teaching. Okay, and the communicative approach, in this one, we are giving language, or we are providing language to the students during direct communication. Okay, they are communicating in order to learn new languages. So according to the approach, for example, if you're using presentation, practice, production approach, you'll find that you are using some of these rules here, like a planner, a manager, facilitator, and so on. But if you are using communicative approach, you find yourself that you're using some other different, like facilitator here. You will be more facilitator approach here. This rule you will use more if you are using communicative approach, for example. Effective classroom management, organizing the classroom and the learners depend on the teacher adopting appropriate rules. For example, when learners, look out for this example, when learners arrive late in your classroom or misbehave, the teacher needs to deal with the situation appropriately to ensure that the learner understand that this is not acceptable during your class. In this situation, the teacher role is primarily to maintain discipline. If, on the other hand, the teacher adopts inappropriate rule, if you try to use inappropriate rule or some rules that are not suitable to the situation, this can be very negative and very effective also in a negative way on the classroom management. Imagine a situation where one learner is dominating. For example, you are giving some exercises to the students, asking them some questions, and one of your students dominating the classroom and always trying to answer your questions and not giving a chance to the other students to participate. Okay, of course, this is also a negative thing that you have to deal with. And of course, you can deal with that playing also the rule of the manager, which is very important to you, that you are giving some clear and direct instructions to the students at the beginning of your semester in order to teach them what to do when you are asking a students, how can we answer in the right order. Let's go to next slide. How to apply these rules, teaching rules. Rules have to be appropriate for, number one, the context of your lesson, the aims that you need to provide to your students, and also the stage. Are we in the lead-in phase or warm-up phase, language input, or getting the feedback? And of course, according to the age, you must know that some certain rules do not apply to kids, but they apply more for adults or teen ages. A type of activity you are giving to your students. Are they doing this activity also individually or in pairs or even in group? Attitude of the learners. Are your classroom is quiet or they are not, they are keeping moving or what? These are all things that you can use. It depends on what rule to apply in the following situation now. The best source or the best course of action. Now, I will give you a question and I want to try to answer A, B, or C, and then we'll see A, B, or C, and why. The teacher had just introduced the first conditional to a group of teenage pre-intermediate students through reading text and wants to find out if they understand what the structure means. So, in this case, you'll be a language resource, assessor, or a mentor. I just want you to answer me A, B, or C, and why.
Could I?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
It's B.
Why?
Because at this stage,
Yes.
He give them all things. He give them the rule, and he want to find out if they understand or not.
Excellent.
He want to find out if they can answer the question or not.
That's right. He needs to evaluate. So
He already finished the stage of language resource, and he already finished, or he may be a monitor at this moment. But the main resource of this thing is assessor. I think that.
Yes, assessor is the right answer. B. Thank you very much. Now, let's go to the next one. And this one will help you to understand the rules of the teachers. Now, the teacher has planned to start a lesson by going over homework set in the previous lesson. However, only half the class have done it. So, the teacher starts the lesson by going over homework as he had planned before, or the teacher puts the students into pairs, one who has done the homework and one who hasn't, and goes over homework with the whole class. Or the teacher collects the homework from the students who have done it and tell the other students to bring their complete homework to the next class. Which one would you be more suitable for the right course of action? If you know, please. A, B, or C. What will you do? Yes, Mike. Go ahead.
Me?
A, B.
Sumaya?
Yes.
B. I think the little number B.
B.
Yes, because it will be a chance for those who done the homework to check their answers.
All right. Thank you very much. But I have a question for you. Do you think if you give them other homework assessments or some homeworks, do you think they are going to do it next time?
For those who done or who didn't
do it. Do you think they are going to do it again until you finish your course with them?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
All right. Thank you very much.
I think the best answer is C.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So that's right. So the best answer is C, of course, because the students who didn't do their homework still have to do it again. Okay, and maybe you are going to give more homework, so they're going to do the double work. So this is also some kind of the suitable answer here is C. So next one. The teacher has finished what he planned. I'm sorry for this time. What he planned to do in the lesson, but there are still 5 minutes of the class. And this question is very important, and this situation happens with you regularly. So let's go to. The teacher tells the students they can leave the class early, or you are going to tell the students to close their books and try to remember 6 of the new words from the lesson, or some new words from the lesson, or the teacher plays the listening text from the lesson and again and tell the students to listen more carefully. Which one you'll go with if you are the teacher?
Could I?
Yes, of course. You are the
I think
class here. Thank you.
Okay. I think B is the best answer.
Why?
Or maybe C.
Why?
Sometimes B, sometimes C. To make a revision or to revise the students with the words, the new words.
So when they leave your class,
Absolutely A, no. It's not the best answer at all. Sometimes I do as a teacher, I do C, and sometimes I practice B.
Right. Abdul Wahab, do you have any other?
Okay, can I speak?
Yes.
I think the best answer is the letter B, because this is a feedback. The feedback what they are learned. This is about what they are learning. This is, I think it's a good answer. This is as a feedback.
The right
Reflection.
That's right. Thank you very much. B is this more suitable action that you could do during your lesson. So it will be B is the right answer. Now let's go on to the next one. Half of your students always arrive late. Always arrive late for the lesson because they have gym immediately beforehand. So what you're going to do in this situation? You will give a workbook exercise to the students who come on time, or the teacher punishes the students who come late. The teacher prepares a game on the topic of the lesson for the students who come on time. If you please. Saeed, can you help us here? A, B, or C? Just try to guess. Participate.
Can I speak?
Yes, please.
Okay, I think it's suitable. The letter C. It is it's very important. We can start. In my opinion, I can start the lesson with a game and end with the same game, but in different ways. It means it can help students. We can measure how can they learn it, or how can the levels turn it or for higher. Or how can you achieve the aim of the or goals of the lesson? I think so.
And also the option C, when you prepare a game for the students who come in time, you're giving again, you are motivating them to come in time next time also. Thank you very much. Now let's continue to the next question here. The students are passive, and this happens all the time. So it's okay. So the students are passive and always wait for the teacher to tell them the answers and give them examples. He wants them to participate more effectively in the lesson. So the teacher lets the students check answers and ideas in pairs before eliciting answer from class, or the teacher tells the students that they must participate more, or the teacher asks the students or asks for an example and then waits until the students answer. What do you think is more suitable in this situation? What will you do?
Okay. Could I?
Yeah, please. Sumayya.
I think
Thank you, Naha.
C is the suitable answer.
Thank you. Now to get another answer. Sumayya, please.
The same answer, C. C is suitable.
Ask them for an example, okay? And any other opinions?
May I speak?
Yes.
Okay. I think in my opinion, I think it's very good. It helps students to work in pairs or groups.
Pairs, that's right.
They can check their answers together,
Right.
and help Chinese pupils to participate and give them a chance to speak.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, I have another question. Two of our teachers here choose or went with the option C here. The teacher asks the question and asks for an example and then waits until the students answer. Why this technique is not suitable in this situation, in your opinion?
Why?
Because it makes it forever. Because you're already dealing with passive students, and they have attitude here that they are always waiting for the teacher. It's not only the first time, it's not the first time. Okay, so if you ask a question and wait for the answers and examples from them, you may wait forever, right? But if you are encourage them to work in pairs, okay, and trying to help each other, this technique will be more successful in this case. And instead of working independently. Right?
Right, you are right.
Great.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now, let's get to the next. Useful tools and resources. These are some resources that you need to know and use as a teacher if you want to improve and develop yourself as an English teacher, of course. The first one is the what we call it Class Dojo website. Okay, this one we also use to manage classrooms. But we will only take a break for 5 minutes, if you pardon me, and we will get back to the same point, okay? Just 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. One more time. I think today's session is about what kind of rules do you adopt during your lesson. Here we have planner, which you use during planning before the lesson and choosing the material. A manager, when you manage your classroom spaces inside your class and the behavior of your students. Monitor and observer, when you monitor and observe your students in the classroom, and also facilitator, diagnostician again, and language resource and assessor, and then rapport builder. So if you are a young teacher, not experienced, don't worry if you cannot use all the rules of a teacher here. You will find yourself using 1 or 2, 3, or even 4 of these rules if you are a young teacher. And with experience and with more session that you get, you'll find yourself using more of these rules. So not necessarily to use all the rules at once if you are starting your career as an English teacher, of course. Before going to the resources that we can use, let's check your understanding of these rules here. In the first question, when acting as a monitor in their work, the teacher, there are 2 possible answers here, or 2 right answers, and I want you to tell me what is the one that is not related to the sentence here. When acting as a monitor in pair work, the teacher, standing watching learners, moves around the classroom, or partners alone. Which one is not related or does not complete a sentence?
B.
Moves around the classroom?
Yeah.
So you, as a monitor, you don't move around your classroom. You stand at your position.
No, I stand watching my students. There is a difference between stand watching and only standing.
Right. You are acting monitor in their work. Okay. So you can stand watching the learners.
Yeah, watching them.
You can also move around the classroom, but you shouldn't partner. You shouldn't partner with a learner. So C is
Okay.
yes, the one which does not complete the sentence. I tell you, we have 2 right answers and we have 1 wrong. Okay, I want you to tell me does not complete the meaning here. So, all right, next one. When you act as language expert or language input, the teacher, maintain discipline, explain a meaning to the learners, or provides models. A, B, or C. Language input, language resource.
A is not suitable. B and C is the good.
So the one which does not complete will be
A.
A. Thank you. Next one, number 3. When acting as a facilitator, the teacher finds out learners' names, develops learners' autonomy, or encourages the use of learning strategies.
A.
Do you have any other opinions? Do you think she's got the right answer? A? Huh? Do you agree with her? Hello? Do you agree with that one? 3, A? Right, A is the right answer.
Could I approve my answer?
Thank you. All right, next. When acting as a manager, the teacher, manager, organize learning resources, presents new language, or sets up group work.
B.
Why?
I understand that you want this
So the manager
sentence.
organizes, yes, and sets up group work. That's right. These things that can be done by the manager. Okay, if you are presenting a new language, what role do you think, Sumaya, what role do you think
Language,
you can do here?
language expert.
Language.
Sumaya,
Language expert.
language input or language resource. Thank you very much. That's right. If you are presenting. Now, when acting as a diagnostician here, the teacher evaluate test results, check learners' homework, or introduce new lexes.
B.
Check learners' homework. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is not the right answer. All right. Any other opinion here?
I think C.
C, introduce new lexes. That's right. Of course, you are not, as a diagnostician here, you can evaluate results, check learners' homework, but you don't introduce any new lexes. If you are introducing new lexes, what role will be it? You will be doing.
Language resource.
Excellent. Thank you. Now, next 6. When acting as rapport builder, the teacher uses a correction code, motivates learners, and give positive feedback. Which one is not suitable at all?
A.
A, that's right. Now, if you are doing A using correction code, what do you think the role you are going to play or you will be playing? What's the teacher role for A?
Assessor.
Yes?
Assessor.
All right. 7. When acting as a resource for learners. Okay, I want somebody else to answer this question. Thank you, Naqa, you're great. Now, when acting as a resource for learners, the teacher, resource for learners, resource, gives information on the language, gives homework, or advice on learning strategies. Which one is not suitable here?
B.
Fattah, please, go ahead. Unmute yourself, please. Saad, hello? Which one do you think is not suitable here? A, B, or C?
Number B.
B?
Number B is not suitable.
That's right. So giving information is a resource for learners and also advise learning strategies and give homework. What is the role that you may be doing if you are giving homework? Do you have an idea? If you are giving homework, what the role you will be doing here?
Assessor. Assessor.
Right, now let's continue to the resources that you can use as a teacher. One more time, it's not necessarily, remember that carefully, that it's not necessary to use all the rules, but you'll find yourself that you're using most of the rules during your lessons. Useful tools and resources. The first tool that is very useful for you to use is a Class Dojo website. What can we do with the Class Dojo? Okay, let's share the website with you. Yeah, this is a Class Dojo. As you can see, you can log into as a teacher, parent, student, or even a school leader. Of course, you will log into as a teacher. In this one here, you can create classes here. For example, if you create class like this one here. In this class, I have 3 students. Okay, in each student you can give positive marks or negative marks. Of course, you have to have a display in your class in order to motivate your students by giving them positive points, for example, or on task here. Positive points for the students also can help you to maintain discipline by giving the students things that negative or needs work. And of course, you can add any skills that you can deduct points on. Also, you can report the class activities to the parents if you are connected with them. So when you can surf this website and check, you find more possibilities and more options that you can use using Class Dojo in the classroom. Okay, this is one of the tools used in the classroom, also by the British Council in some classes, especially for young learners, of course. What else we can use here? As a language input or language resource, you can use this website, ego4u.com. It's a very useful website here. You'll find some grammar, writing, vocabulary tests, study tips. And to be honest, the most thing that we're using in our center is the tests here. Especially for tenses, because most of the students have a very big problem using the tenses. And if you want to come over this problem, if you want to teach your students how to tackle and how to deal with the tenses, you must use the following methods. Of course, the website Ego, but before going to the Ego, you must teach your students that tenses must be used by usage, not the formulation. So must pay attention to the usage itself. If you are using any language, not only English, you have 3 cases or 3 possibilities. You need to talk in present, so present talk. In some cases also, you need to talk in past talk. And then, of course, future talk. After that, teach your students how to deal with present. If I want to talk about present, we have 2 tenses here, the present simple and also the present continuous or present progressive. Then, if we need to talk about past, we use more, like 6 of the tenses here. Of course, the first one is the present perfect. So it's not necessarily to name the name of the is present, so we're using it in present. No, present perfect, for example, mostly used in past talk, and also past simple, of course, and then going to past continuous or past progressive, past perfect. One more time, present perfect but continuous, and past perfect again but continuous. So in this way, you are only creating, like you are creating borderlines into the mind of your students. in order not to be confused. What tense should I use and when? So doing this and then going directly to the website, which is Ego, the Ego website, and doing these 3 tests. As you can see, the test is giving you direct feedback. And also it helps your students in writing skills using the right punctuations. Okay, and this website, we use it for mainly for ESL students, English as second language students. Next, also you can use this website if you want to improve your students' skills, for example. It's a British Council website used for skills. And also you'll find each skill separately here. For example, if you want to teach them how to improve their listening skill, they can go directly to the listening, okay, choose what level they are, and then go directly to the exercise. As you find this exercise also provided with an audio, as a listening exercise, they can listen.
This recording is from the British Council.
And then try to answer. And these are some resources that can be used to help your students. Let's get back again. So we have the Class Dojo, the website from the British Council, and also ego.com. A very useful book for you to learn how to manage your classroom. A to Z of Classroom Management by Simon Brown. And it's available for you PDF. If you search online, you can find it and you can download it and use it. It's very important for you as a teacher to be aware of these techniques. Next, of course, you can take any one of TKT courses, which can help you to improve yourself as a teacher. And of course, you know that one of the most important certificates for you as a teacher is the CELTA courses. But we don't recommend that you go to the CELTA unless you've got TKT course. This will be better for you in order to have good grades in CELTA, of course. And after that, you can go for Delta if you want. So this was mainly it for today's session, which was about the teacher roles and classroom management. I'll be happy if you have any question and you want me to answer. I'm ready for your questions. Do you have any questions before you go? Yes, go ahead, Naqa.
I'm asked about Class Dojo. Is it available for all countries or only in Egypt?
It's all available for all countries and it's completely free, and you can use it anywhere.
Can I make a class for my students, for example?
You can make more classes if you want, any number of classes, and you can have a number of students inside your classroom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions here? Wish you had fun and wish the session was useful for you.